Hi, this is Career Assessment with a focus on ONET. Our objective here for the next, say, 45 minutes or so is to cover the importance of assessing your skills, a pivotal part of the job search process, especially now with so many positions out there that have been rescinded or put on hold. Our goal by the end of the session is for you to be able to effectively conduct a self-assessment using ONET to determine all of the positions out there that you qualify for, and not just the position that you've held most recently. My name is Brendan Schneider. This is a webinar brought to you by the fine folks of Mass Hire Metro North Career Center, and here's what we'll be going over today. Our starting point will consist of first making the case for assessments. Then we'll meet ONET. It's really an introduction to the platform. We'll explore the platform of ONET. Then we'll talk about assessing organizations, and we'll round things out with Boolean searches. Now, an assessment is your starting point, square one, a recentering. Before you can start out, you have to take stock of your skills, your passion, and then go from there. This thought process is especially necessary now. Now, at Mass Hire, we've heard from a lot of job seekers out there, and many out there believe that they're headed back to the job that they were furloughed from, maybe even the job that they were temporarily laid off from. But what if you're not? What if they decide to not bring you back? As a job seeker, you can learn a lot from the articles written just as the pandemic was getting going here in the States. On May 7th of 2020, Heather Long and Emily Guskin wrote an article for the Washington Post. Over 33 million Americans lost their job during the pandemic. 77% believe that they'll get it back. And here's that URL. Now, two parts of this article really stood out for me. There's this bit right here. A new report from the Becker-Friedman Institute at the University of Chicago predicts 42% of the recent layoffs from the pandemic will result in permanent job losses. 42%. In this section, there are two big issues. First, many companies are going bankrupt or shutting down permanently, so they won't need workers. Second, even after parts of the economy reopen, many people will be hesitant to shop, travel, and go out to eat as they did before. Businesses operating at half capacity or switching to online or takeout don't need nearly as many workers. Then on May 12th, 2020, Jack Kelly wrote a piece in Forbes, "Here's Why Furloughs Will Turn into Permanent Job Losses." Here's that URL. Like the Washington Post piece, two parts of this article really jumped out at me. There was this bit right here. Claudia Sahm, a former Federal Reserve economist, laments, "For a lot of those furloughed workers, a non-trivial number will have no job to go back to because the company they worked for will have failed or will need fewer workers than they're used to." And then this part knocked me out. Major companies, including high-end retailer Neiman Marcus, J.Crew, Forever 21, Pier 1 Imports, Diamond Offshore Drilling, Gold's Gym, McClatchy Newspaper Chain, Model Sporting Goods, and other big-name companies have announced bankruptcy plans. Other long-standing household retail chains such as Sears, Kmart, The Gap, GNC, Macy's, Bed Bath & Beyond, Hallmark, Papyrus, and GameStop, along with others, have confirmed over 3,000 store closings. Yes, we're looking into the past, but we cannot forget these lessons. As job seekers, you have to protect yourselves, your childcare arrangements, mortgage payments, money for food. And the best way that you can do that is knowing all of the skills at your disposal, all of the accomplishments that will successfully propel you into the next position, whether it's the one that you had a few months ago or a headfirst jump into a completely different pool, but not one where you'd be out of your depth. No, it would actually work out. And that is the intriguing thing about assessments. It's like there's this hypothetical employer out there asking, what else can you do? Assessments answer that question, and ONET can really help us get there. What I'm going to do right now is jump over to the internet. And here we are. All right. So this is ONET right here, our first screen, the Occupation Information Network Online, or ONET for short. This is an online presence of the U.S. Department of Labor, and it was designed to help job seekers. Sorry about that. Okay. So it's designed to help job seekers find positions out there that call for their skills, their interest, their experience. There are over 900 occupations listed in this database. And I pulled this from the site. Quote, the data collection is designed to provide data that are valid, reliable, current, and regularly updated, end quote. ONET pulls from multiple sources, including the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS. And as I mentioned, what we're looking at here is the first screen of ONET. This is where you can perform an occupation keyword search, and that's actually our next stop. So what you do is you go up to the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and you put in a position that you want to know more about, or a position that you've held most recently and you're looking to make a jump from. So let's say in either of those instances, that position in question is medical assistant. You would write out medical assistant, upper right, and click go. And you would choose the position that is closest to what you had. The positions that we see here are all of the positions that have anything to do with that phrase medical assistant. We want the occupation medical assistant, so we're going to click that. Also notice the bright suns here. We're going to get into the bright suns in just a second. Okay, now what we're looking at here is the summary report of the medical assistant position. It starts with a blurb of what the position is all about, followed by alias job titles for the position. I mentioned Bright Outlook a second ago. We click on here, we see that Bright Outlook occupations are expected to grow rapidly in the next several years, will have large number of job openings, or are new and emerging occupations. Incidentally, you can check for Bright Outlook positions through the Find Occupations list right here. But sticking with the summary report, what we have first are the tasks that you would have to perform as a medical assistant. We see here that 5 of 20 are displayed. If we wanted to see the rest of those tasks, per the U.S. Department of Labor, we would just click this caret right here, showing the tasks that one would need to perform for that position. Technology skills, the instances of technology that you'd have to use. Now, also note the little bits of fire that are on screen right now. That means a hot technology. Anytime you see a little bit of fire, it means that hot technology, that's a requirement most frequently included across all employer job postings. You may actually see the in-demand skill as well. We don't see that here on screen yet, but in-demand skills are frequently included in employer job postings for that particular occupation. Continuing to scroll down, we can see the work activities and the detailed work activities, what you could expect to do within that role. So let's say you've been a medical assistant this whole time, or you were interested enough in the role of medical assistant that you wanted to learn more, and you know that out of everything that you've seen so far, really, the only work activity that you enjoyed being as a medical assistant, or the only work activity that you've seen so far that's related to a medical assistant that you can see yourself doing, is inspecting equipment, structures, or materials. I love this bit right here. You can click on this plus sign and you can see other positions out there in the database that call for that same work activity. In this way, you can assess your skills against other positions out there that are calling for that same work activity. And that goes the same for any time that you see that plus symbol, whether it's under tasks or technology skills, work activities, and so on and so forth. It's a great assessment tool. Detailed work activities, work context, what you would find yourself, the environment that you would find yourself in, and what you can expect. Contact with others. 100% of the respondents that are medical assistants that gave the U.S. Department of Labor this information, they said, yes, you'll have constant contact with others as a medical assistant. We can see the rest of that list by clicking on the drop down here. Job zone. All Job Zone really is a level of preparation. Job Zone 3, as you can see here, medium preparation needed. That's to differentiate between different roles. For example, a barista, perhaps that job zone would be a job zone of 1, while say an astronaut would be a much higher job zone. Training and credentials, you can go here and put in your local zip code to find out about local trainings and credentials associated with this position type. And it's possible that your home Mass Hire Career Center can assist you with funding assistance for training. Absolutely no guarantees, but contact your local career center to find out more about that. Also, apprenticeship opportunities that are in conjunction with this particular position, medical assistant. Next, we've got skills and knowledge. Now, you might wonder, well, wait a minute, why didn't we see this earlier? Why is this considered a skill and something else considered a work activity? ONET has its own dialect of where to put things in which categories. Don't be so caught up in what's a skill, what's the work activity. Instead, look at the content itself. And speaking of content, what we've been seeing here are the keywords associated with a medical assistant position. The keywords that you can put into your resume, the keywords that you can put into your cover letter and as part of your interview talking points if you're interviewing for this position. Skills, knowledge, education, abilities. And here we see sometimes we have a medical assistant that we wonder, boy, I wasn't a very good medical assistant. If a person isn't a very good medical assistant, we'll see a lack of some of these abilities, right? And the really good medical assistants out there will have these abilities, right? Next, we've got interests. So interests has to do with the Holland codes or RIASEC, RIASEC. These are personality types. We can see that to excel as a medical assistant, it would be recommended that your personality type is one of convention, that you're social, and that you're realistic in that particular order. John Holland is responsible for much of modern day career counseling practice. He was in the U.S. Army and he was in charge with putting platoons together. And he had a brainstorm one day. He thought to himself, wait a minute, I wonder if personality type is drawn toward a particular position type. And he was absolutely onto something. So personality patterns associated with this particular position. And if you want to find out more about your personality pattern, you can take the free ONET Interest Profiler by clicking here, and you can take an assessment to find out your personality pattern. And if you're interested in a medical assistant, see how closely it lines up with this personality pattern. Work values, what you would value on that particular job, right? Work styles, the type of work style that you'd be called upon to exhibit. You must have integrity, attention to detail. Again, we can unzip this all the way like a zip file or zipping it back up. Then we've got wages and employment trends. So what we can do here is see, salary is often dictated by the area of the country that you're in. A medical assistant in the Boston, Massachusetts area would be paid differently than, say, a medical assistant in the San Diego, California area. It has to do with cost of living. So what you can do before that interview and before you get that question of, well, what are you thinking for salary? Instead of a deer in the headlights look, you can have that information at your disposal by going to a website like ONET Online. So let's say we put in a local zip code for wages and we click go. Now what we're looking at is a side-by-side line graph comparison of the ranges, the salary ranges for within the US, within the state, and within this particular region of 02474. You can see that the salary, the median is a larger price point than, say, Massachusetts or even the rest of the country. This is where you can go to find out the going range. Perhaps you've been a medical assistant. Maybe your range then would be a little further toward that $60,000 range. Maybe you've never been a medical assistant before, so you can expect a salary range a little closer to that $37,000 per year. And you can see more down below as well. So now you know what the going range is for that particular position. You can switch to hourly wages here. Jumping back now to state trends. A much faster than the average projected growth for this position nationally, What if we wanted to check it out state-wise? We can go to Massachusetts and click Go. And we can see, comparing against the US at large, projected growth 14,000, projected growth 21,000. That was a projection from 2020 to 2030. Annual job openings nationally, 114 and change. Projected annual job openings here in the state of Massachusetts, 1980. Not bad. That's why it's a bright outlook. Jumping back, we see where they're getting the information from. We also see job openings on the web right here. And here's some more related occupations. So let's say we're interested in checking out some medical assistant positions. We can click on local zip code and we can click Go. Now I'm sorting by date posted. I'm recording this webinar on December 11th, 2023. It's a Monday. We can see that HCA Healthcare posted a position just yesterday. And these organizations posted positions this past Saturday. These organizations Friday, and so on and so forth. Generally, this is the time of the year that job seekers believe that there are no jobs. Here we see positions. We're during Hanukkah right now. We're within 2 weeks of Christmas, and we're within 2 weeks of Kwanzaa, and we're within 3 weeks of New Year's. As you can see, there are positions available. It's not so much that positions dry up during the holidays. It's that the contacts get further apart. This is because the decision makers, the hiring managers, tend to take vacations around this time of the year. Same thing around Memorial Day, around the 4th of July. So when you job search, consider the calendar. What does step up during this holiday time are networking events. So consider that. Consider networking within your role as well. Where we can go from here is we can take a look at the organization. We could research them. We can research exactly what they're looking for with that position. And we also see where the position is located. Scrolling down, we also see sources of additional information. What better place to request an informational interview about this position type, especially if you're planning on doing an industry jump? So that is a nutshell of the summary report. But there's other searches that we could take advantage of as well. Right here, advanced searches, we can click here, and we can click on job duties. So let's say I've been a medical assistant. I can put in medical assistant here and click Go. Again, I'm going to choose the job title that's closest to what I'm looking for here. All right. What follows are the job duties associated with this position type of medical assistant. So let's say out of everything that my position called for, the only real things I like to do is interview patients, explaining treatment procedures, and preparing and administering medications. I didn't want to do anything else. In my next position, I really want to see these 3 duties in my next position. So ONET, show me those positions that call for these 3 job duties. I can click Go. And now we'll see the other positions that call for those 3 job duties: nursing assistants, veterinary assistants, and laboratory animal caretakers and psychiatric aides to start off the list. These numbers here, this is preparation, all related tasks, and closely related tasks. And we can see the 3 duties that we indicated up top. Another beautiful path if you're planning on making the jump from a medical assistant to another position. What other positions are out there that are similar to being a medical assistant with these 3 job duties? We're looking at them right here. Another great search, if we go back to on advanced searches, is soft skills. The soft skills search. Soft skills equal emotional intelligence, knowing when to act, how to act rather, at a particular time. So let's say in my next position, pardon me, let's say my next position, I would like to see instructing and social perceptiveness. And then I'd also like to see active learning, active listening, and say learning strategies. I'm going to leave the others blank, if you will. I'm not going to turn those on. But this is me telling ONET, okay, ONET, I want to see the positions out there that call for these soft skills. I'm going to click go. And now we'll see those other positions out there that are calling for those soft skills. We see the 5 soft skills here, and these are the positions that call for them. So we're job searching by soft skill. We can do the same exact type of search with technology. Now we can search for roles out there by technology. So we can click on technology skills. Let's say what I want to see in my next position is Microsoft PowerPoint. We can type in Microsoft PowerPoint and click go. We're going to click that example. And what follows are the positions that are calling for Microsoft PowerPoint. We also see these in-demand positions, these in-demand symbols. The skills considered in demand for the occupation if it is mentioned in 5% or more of the occupation's employer job postings. Not bad. Not bad at all. This site is very robust. I hope you'll use this recording as a jumping off point. Explore around, get lost, and learn about your target fields. I'm going to jump back to the PowerPoint now. And here we are back. We met ONET. Thank you, ONET. Now, this leads to our next discussion here, this idea of assessing organizations. If you spot a position that's appealing on your job search, I would suggest that you put that position, that organization name into sites like LinkedIn, Glassdoor, and CareerBliss to find out more about that organization. Because then you're not just assessing yourself on your job search, but you're also assessing if the organization is the right fit for you. I'm also a big fan of using Boolean searches to find organizations out there that are like me. These are fantastic. So check this out. Here's how they work. You fire up a search engine like Google, and you can put in the phrase mission statement in quotes. Next, add a plus sign. Next, put in your nearest major metropolitan city in quotes. So maybe Boston, MA. You can experiment with local cities too. So maybe Cambridge, MA, Salem, MA, Portsmouth, NH. And also quotes give you the best search results for our purposes here. Next, another plus sign. And finally, you'd put in a core value that you have. A core value is something that resonates with who you are. So maybe it's diversity or authenticity, curiosity or autonomy. Personally, I like searching for work-life balance. I could put that in quotes. And here's what it would look like in a search engine. Mission statement in quotes plus Boston, MA in quotes plus work-life balance in quotes. In this way, you're telling your search engine, show me all of the websites out there that are using these words as tags in the background of their site. And it's going to be that search result's going to include a 50-mile radius from Boston, MA. To put it in context, when I performed this search, I got over 119,000 results. I mean, there was some stuff in there that didn't apply, old articles, classes that I've already met, but I also found organization after organization in the Boston area that has work-life balance in their mission statement. I could then replace work-life balance with something else that resonates. And if the same organization pops up over and over, it's a hit. That is an organization I'm going to keep tabs on. In this way, we're conceivably assessing organizations before they're even hiring. And that's ideal for an informational interview. Please join us for future sessions. You can go to masshiremncareers.com/events. Once there, you can access our calendar or virtual workshops. And if you need assistance, we've provided instructions for you as well. On behalf of all of us here at Mass Hire and Metro North, thank you very much for watching. You can stay tuned for more. The homepage of our website is the lower right-hand bottom of the screen right now, www.masshiremncareers.com. Our resource page has links to some great sites out there. It also links to our YouTube channel, which has our pre-recorded job search and technology webinars. On search, you can see a shot taken from the contact page of our website. These lines are always monitored, so just contact us for assistance and you will get a call back. Until then, I wish you maximum luck on your job search, and thank you very much for watching.